hang out in the other offices?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining our Wageworks tutorial. And thank you to everyone who took our benefits survey I think we sent out last month. So every year HR, we're always trying to strive and improve and collect feedback about our benefits. So every year we send out a survey around the summertime, so that helps us prepare for open enrollment. And so something that came out of the survey from your feedback is Wageworks. And so I want to preface it with, every year when HR, we reevaluate our benefits and we're looking at what's working and what's not working. We made a decision to go to Wageworks for 2017 because there were issues with our previous vendor, but a lot of the issues were actually more, the wellness part worked great actually, but it was the other benefits that a lot of employees were having difficulty with. And then on the back side, on the administration side, we were having a lot of issues there. So we made a decision to switch to Wageworks because Wageworks is probably one of the biggest companies in the country when it comes to these kind of type of benefits. They're really very robust. But of course, a big company may have some restrictions, as we all know, especially with the wellness piece. So we wanted to host this tutorial for you guys because, HR is always here to help you with your questions. Sometimes though, I do think people tend not to reach out to us. And so we were thinking maybe if we have a tutorial, not only hopefully we'll answer some of your questions, but then we'll give an opportunity where we can go over some of your, some bumps and difficulties that you guys have been experiencing, because probably if you're experiencing it, someone else is too. And then afterwards, again, you don't have to wait for these tutorials or surveys to give us your feedback. It actually really helps us when you give us your feedback in real time. So this is just a reminder, HR is here. Though we sit in San Francisco and LA, you can email us, HIP chat us, GChat, video chat. We're always happy to help you. You just need to tell us when you're having some issues so we can help you in real time. All right, so I'm going to go through a tutorial, and probably what's going to happen is I'm going to, I have some screenshots for you guys, but I am going to turn it over to you guys to, if you want, ask questions and that we can do them together. So the first slide is, what services does Wageworks provide? Now, it all depends on your needs and which health benefits you are on if you participate in one of our health benefits. But all the services that Wageworks does provide are commuter, which probably almost everyone uses except maybe our LA office. The company wellness reimbursements. For our Blue Shield 2250 members, you use Wageworks for your health reimbursement account. For some employees have elected to sign up for flexible spending, and then our Kaiser members use Wageworks for the health savings account. How to register. So first things first, make sure you've registered with Wageworks. You do have to make an account, and you can do that by going to the Wageworks website, clicking on login and register, and click on employee registration. So, obviously we have on the backside already told Wageworks you are an eligible employee, and we've put the benefits that you guys are eligible for. So as long as you log in using your last 4 digits of your social security and I think your home zip, they should find you. Now, some people have experienced some issues where because they've used Wageworks with a different employer, a past employer, sometimes Wageworks finds the old account. So if you experience that, you do have to contact customer service, because the HR team, unfortunately, we don't have access to reset your passwords, reset your login, things like that. That you have to contact the Wageworks customer service team, but they're really good about resetting or syncing your accounts properly. Again, if you don't have that issue, but you just can't find an account, you should really reach out to HR. It's possible that maybe we don't have your proper information, which is not a good thing. So when you first log into Wageworks, you're going to see your own dashboard. Depending on what kind of benefit you're eligible for will determine what your dashboard looks like. In this example, this employee is eligible for the commuter benefit, the HRA, and the FSA. Again, it all depends on you and what benefits you're eligible, what benefits you signed up for, so it can determine what your dashboard looks like. But on the left-hand side is some action buttons, is what I call them. As you can see, if you're eligible for the commuter program, you can enroll in the commuter program. If you are eligible for any of our reimbursement accounts, you can submit a receipt or claim. And then up along the top is more kind of sections where you can check the status of your claims and activities. You can use calculators. Card Center is important if you receive some kind of Wageworks card. There is a possibility you could have up to 2 Wageworks card depending on what you enrolled in. You have a Wageworks commuter card, which should be blue, and it very clearly says commuter. You can have a Wageworks healthcare card, which is clearly stated health savings or healthcare, excuse me, and it's orange. That card, though, depending on what kind of health benefit you signed up for, that will determine the use of the card. But if you need to check the status of your card, like let's say you're a new hire, you made your first commuter order, it's almost the first of the first benefit month that you're eligible for, and you still haven't gotten your card, they actually show you the date it was issued and mailed out to you. It also confirms the address. So let's say you forgot to tell HR that you changed your address, it's possible the card could have been sent somewhere. So that's why it's really, really crucial to always make sure HR has your most up-to-date information. You can also use the Card Center to order lost or report stolen cards.
I also got this Avita health card.
That is our old Navia HSA. We can talk about that separately. Yeah. So again, you should only have 2 credit cards from Wageworks. That's the max you could have, but it just depends on what you've enrolled in. So if you got a 3rd card, come talk to HR. Yeah. And then the Resource Center is really helpful. That's where you can find like lists of eligible expenses if you have the FSA, HRA, and HSA, or just helpful tips from Wageworks. Okay, so these are just more screenshots of the dashboard. Again, I didn't take all the screenshots because you can use a dashboard in different ways, but here are just examples of when you click on the claims and activity. That's really helpful if you're tracking your expenses, if you submit for reimbursement. And then this is what the Card Center looks like. So as you can see, this employee for the Card Center has 2 types of cards, a commuter card and a healthcare card, but the healthcare card is used for their FSA. All right. Any questions about the dashboard and just navigating the system? Okay. The next section, probably the most popular benefit, is the commuter benefit, because that is the benefit that is eligible to all PopSugar employees. And for Wageworks, we use that for transit and parking, because the IRS does differentiate between transit and a parking benefit. So first thing I want to call out, if you don't know already, is Wageworks has a 10th of the month deadline if you're placing it for the following month. What that means, I'm using October. So let's say you are a new hire that will start commuting to the office in October, or because you traveled so much for the summer and your first full month back in the office is October, you need to place or edit your order by September 10th. No exceptions. If you miss the 10th deadline, you miss the October benefit, and you will have to just use your own post-tax dollars or personal credit card to pay for your commuting cost. That's a Wageworks deadline. On top of that, the IRS puts limits on what we call the pre-tax and post-tax benefit. So you can elect however much you need for your monthly commuting cost, but the IRS puts limits on how much will be tax-free. And so that is $255 a month. So if you need more than $255, like Clipper or Metro is over $255 is $300, please place $300 so you don't have to do 2 purchases. You just, when it's taken out of your paychecks every month, it's taken out according to the IRS limits. So what's great about Wageworks is because it's such a nationwide provider, it actually works with local transit agencies. So when you are, again, on that left-hand side of your dashboard, you click in enroll in commuter and place a commuter order, it will prompt you to, I forget if I have it. It will prompt you to put in your local zip code. And the point of it is to put the zip code that you are commuting from, I believe. And then, so if I'm in the Bay Area and I put a Bay Area zip code, it's going to show me all eligible transit agencies. So Clipper, BART, Muni, Golden Gate Ferry, AC Transit. You choose the best one for you. You need to figure out what is your monthly cost. But once you choose your agency, you place your monthly order for the full amount. And then depending on how you want your funds loaded or given to you, that option. And then as long as you do it by the 10th, you will see your benefit for the first of the following month. Now, again, this is specific to your local agencies. So it could be different. It's different from New York. It's different for Chicago, and it's different from San Francisco. So I'm not going to go into too deep of, detail. So if you have trouble with that, reach out to HR. We're not familiar with the New York and Chicago agencies, but I'm pretty familiar with the website, so I can at least help you navigate to find what you need. Now, one feedback we received, so that's transit, so that's if you use public transit. So it's basically the same idea for parking. If you also need to park to your local transit agency or park to the office, again, depends on your needs, you place then a parking order, because that's considered a separate benefit by the IRS. So if you need both, you're placing 2 orders. If you need one, you just place the one you need. You will go through the same, put in your zip code, figure out what the best method is for you. But we got some feedback that for some folks that have elected parking funds, put on a Wageworks commuter card, right? There's 2 credit cards. One is a commuter card. It could house both transit or parking. If you choose to have funds loaded on the Wageworks commuter card for your parking needs, because let's say in San Francisco, you're parking at Crocker Galleria, there is a balance limit on your credit card of $255, right? So it matches the IRS limit, because in IRS eyes, you can only use $255 pre-tax to commute to the office. So in their eyes, there is a limit of $255. So let's say for 1 month, you have a reoccurring order, but you actually find that you get sick and you don't come into the office. So that balance stays there. If that balance is still sitting there when the next month order, so September 30th and then October 1st, you have another $255 trying to load on your card, the card will reject your October order and the $255 will be sent back to your Wageworks account as a reimbursement for the month of October. The card will not load any future orders until you spend down the balance. So you have to make sure you're monitoring, and if in the event just timing works out and you're unable to spend down or turn off the future order and it gets rejected, you then have to pay out of pocket, save your receipts, and then go on the Wageworks dashboard to submit your receipts for reimbursement. If you don't do that and the credit sits on your account for 6 months, it eventually will then convert to a credit on your account, which will sit right here, available balances, and you'll see a commuter credit of $255. Then that goes back on your, that will go back on your credit card. It's super complicated. I barely understand it, but again, so you just have to monitor your account. Your money doesn't just disappear. It's your money, and as long as you're an active employee. So don't worry that you missed out. You just might have to work the system a little bit. So again, if you have questions about the parking funds on a commuter card, just reach out to us. Again, I don't want a situation where you guys don't say anything and then let's say you're going to leave Pop Sugar and then unfortunately, if you don't use your funds by your last day at Pop Sugar, then those are forfeited by the IRS laws. So please don't sit on something because you just wasn't sure. Ask us and we can direct you or direct you customer service or help you work the system. So that's the biggest takeaway is don't wait to tell us if there's an issue because then we can't help you.
I had a question about the commuter card.
Yep.
Actually, in the dashboard, it had the option for us to go and just simple select loading the money on our Flipper card
Mhm.
directly. So we're not receiving the commuter card.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's no problem with not receiving a card. Okay.
If you want to, that's specific to San Francisco. If you want to do that, just keep in mind there is a $2 fee.
Mhm.
So, and
Yeah.
that's totally up to you. Again, I didn't go into intricacies of each
Yeah.
benefit just because that's very specific to San Francisco. And it's totally fine if you don't have a card. You might not take advantage of the parking. You might do the Clipper card option.
Okay.
What I just want to make sure is people understand there could be, you could have up to 2 Wageworks credit card,
Mhm.
but if you had both benefit, transit, and parking, it'd be on one
On
Wageworks.
one card.
Yeah, the commuter card.
If I decide, I went through the option for the $2 extra and loading it directly on your Flipper card. If you decide to stop that at some point, then apply for a commuter card. I can still get it, right?
Absolutely, as long as you make the deadline for the month that you want to turn it off and go on the
I
credit
would
card.
just have to go turn off the order, let's say because it's every month. So
Yeah.
Register monthly.
Yep.
Okay.
Commuter benefit is one of the only, commuter and 401k are the only ones you can change whenever you want, as long as you follow the deadlines. Once you choose a health benefit, you're locked in for the year. So those are the 2 that are totally customizable to your needs because, again, the IRS designed the commuter benefit, it meant for commuting to the office. So if you stop commuting to the office, you're not supposed to use that benefit. So that's why it's customizable to if your commuting changes or needs change.
I have another question. If you're not enrolled at the Wageworks and then you decide to enroll, let's say in my case, I wasn't enrolled for the first 2 months. So that money was just cashed on my paycheck, or what happened with the benefit money, basically?
So you had money pulled out of your paychecks, but you didn't use them? Is that what you're saying? Or you didn't
No,
enroll at all?
I hadn't enrolled.
If you didn't enroll, there was no money taken out of your paychecks,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We can't do anything until, that's why it's so crucial that you have to go through Wageworks. If, just like the 401k, you can't tell, hey, HR, can you edit my order to reflect? I can't, because we need your instruction giving us permission to take it out of your paychecks. Yeah.
So because I haven't enrolled in the first 2 months, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't enrolled, there's nothing for us to place an order for or take money out of. And keep in mind, Wageworks, there's never an expiration on your registration.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just nothing will happen until you register.
Mhm.
So that's why I showed you how to register, because some people,
Yes.
want to make sure, do you realize that we switched January 1st of 2017? Because if you're like, why is it Navio working? That's your number one issue, is you're using the wrong vendor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, of course.
Another question on the same lines, like, what if I stop using the commuter and I have money in my commuter account?
It will stay active. The money will be in your account until you decide to leave until your employment with Pop Sugar ends. At that point, if it's a commuter fund, it ends on your last day.
So do I get the money back?
No. The IRS says we cannot give you the money back because they were taken out of pre-tax. So if you have money sitting in your account and let's say your time with Pop Sugar is ending, you do have to take action and get the money off your account, like place a Clipper order, place a BART order. If you take no action and it's sitting as a balance on your account as of your last day, it's called forfeited, because the IRS doesn't let us give it back to you because we took it out pre-tax and you're no longer commuting. So in their eyes, it's no longer a benefit you need.
So we have to use it as soon as possible.
My recommendation is, if some reason you're incurring a balance, turn off a future order. Then try to spend down that balance.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're not having more money taken out of your paycheck is basically the goal. And then turn it back on when you actually need money taken out of your paycheck because you already spend down your balance.
Oh, when it comes to computer, for example, use it as you order it and then use it directly, kind of fashion. So
yes.
if we're loading them on the Clipper card, they're getting used for that month, and then it's
Exactly.
used, so there's no balance in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us.
Ideally, you're always clean every month. Every month
Yeah.
we take money out for the next month. it's when you let a balance accrue, or we're taking money out and you're not using it. That's where you're going to bump into problems if you leave Pop Sugar, because again, there is no exceptions to this IRS limitation. And it's an IRS limitation. It's not a Wageworks. This is not a Pop Sugar. We are bound by the IRS regulations that we cannot give you your money if you sat on a balance as of your last day.
So just for an example, my commuter cost every month is like $50,
Mhm.
and I'm actually adding $80 a month to my card.
Mhm.
And by the end of, let's say, 2 years, I have almost around $600 sitting in my account.
Mhm.
And I would not be able to get it back if I leave after 2 years.
If it's still sitting in your Wageworks account, no.
If I'm putting any money from my account into the commuter card, I have to use it somewhere or the other. There's no way of getting the money back from the commuter account.
If you're able to have that balance sitting on a Wageworks commuter card, the one exception is you have 90 days from your termination date to spend it down. The credit card will stay active for 90 days, but that's if the money is sitting not on your account, but on your Wageworks commuter card. Some people let it sit on their account as a credit. I still don't recommend that, because what if you can't spend the $600 in 90 days? That's actually a very likely, because Clipper Card has their own balance limitations.
So it's like a one-way road. Like money comes from my account and their account, and that's it. Like you can't take out money from the commuter account, Wageworks account, back to your account.
No, the IRS is very clear on that.
So it's use it and lose it.
Exactly. That's the perfect. You said it perfectly, Maria. It's a use it or lose it program. I wouldn't bank on.
So just add like $50 and then.
Use it.
If you know how much you need every month is $50. I don't see why you just wouldn't elect $50, especially now you have a credit accrue, so if there's ever some issues. But unless your commuter needs change every month, it should actually stay stagnant at $50 a month. But that's whatever is your choice. More about it if you have more questions. Okay, so I think this is the next popular section, the wellness reimbursements. Again, I hear you guys, I understand it, and I wish I had a better answer for you. It's still, I think what we have to remember, this is a company benefit of for our eligible employees. You get $50 a month to use for your wellness costs. What wellness means to you, we have a very extensive list. It's just there are some limitations on the reimbursement part of the program. So one thing I want to call out first is probably the biggest thing is when we switch from our old provider to Wageworks. Wageworks, we reimburse your wellness through your paychecks. You are no longer getting checks or direct deposits from the vendor. You should see the reimbursement on the last paycheck of every month as long as you submit it in a timely manner. Yep.
Last paycheck, you mean the second paycheck that you get?
Sorry, well, last paycheck of the month, so second paycheck of the month, yeah. So this too is a use it or lose it program, because Wageworks has their own reimbursement restrictions. So you are eligible for $50 a month. If you're here for the full year, that means $600 for the year, right? Wageworks designs the program where it's meant for each benefit month. So so January, you're eligible for $50. You should be submitting a receipt that was incurred in January. And so they give you a 1 month grace period. So if it's a January receipt or expense, I should say, you have till February 28th, the end of the following month, however that month falls. Not 30 days, not 31 days, it's the end of the following month to submit your receipt.
But the receipt has to be in January.
It needs to start in January.
Okay.
Let's say you purchase a bulk of SoulCycle or you purchase a bike in January and it exceeds $50. You should submit that in January, the start of when you incurred the receipt or expense, and then put a service date of 1/1/2017 through however long the expense is for. So if it's $600 or plus, that's a full year. You put January 1st to December 31st of 2017. So, and then that way, Wageworks will reimburse you $50 every month. So what some people are running into is our old vendor was pretty flexible. They knew you're eligible for 600 total. They let you submit it any day of the year. So that's why some people are submitting a receipt that they incurred in January, but they're not submitting it till March. You've passed your grace period window. And some people are forgetting to put service dates. So they just put the day of the receipt. So in Wageworks' eyes, if you put a receipt for March 3rd, the day you bought the $600 or $400 bike, they're just going to give you $50 for March. So you do have to kind of be a little mindful about how you're submitting your receipt. You have to understand the Wageworks limitations. But if you get in a good habit of this, you should be eligible for your $600. So I have a monthly gym membership. It comes the first week of every month. It comes in my bank. Take a screenshot of the bank charge. I put it in Wageworks. I say it's for August 1st to August 31st. It exceeds $50, but I just put, I think I put the full amount, like this $59.95. You should get 2 types of emails. One confirming you submitted something, and then the status email, which says it's been approved or denied. And it will tell you how much did it approve. Should be 50. If I submit this, as long as I submit this by the 10th of the month, I will see it on my August 31st paycheck. If I submit it after the 10th or it gets approved after the 10th, it will take until your September 30th paycheck. Just because we run it through payroll and we have some payroll limitations. So it could take a little longer to get your reimbursement, but you should see your reimbursement on your paychecks. But remember, we only produce it on the last paycheck of each month or your second paycheck of each month. So you won't see it on your 9/15, you'll see it on your 9/30.
If you have one of those larger, like January to December timeframes, if it was like over 600, do you have to keep going on and resubmitting the receipt every month, or it's like a one and done?
As long as you did the service dates, it should be one and done.
Okay.
But if you choose to do that way, you can totally do it that way, and that might help you remember that like you should be getting $50 every paycheck.
Yeah.
I think what's kind of hard is, unfortunately, the money is coming on your paycheck, which is lumped in with your other wages, so it doesn't feel as concrete as getting a check or a direct deposit. But that actually is the most, I would say, proper way for the IRS eyes, because wellness is a taxable benefit. So that's actually tax-wise, it's better for you guys, because getting hit at the end of the year with $600, that will increase your taxes immensely. And I think some of you saw that last year. This way, we're taking in real time, $50 at a time. It's not going to increase your tax that much, but it is a taxable benefit for the IRS.
What if you already see, like, let's say you have a 600 thing and you just put a service date for 1 month and you forget about putting the service date?
Then you'll have to submit it every month. Or what you could do is, if you did January as a 1-month benefit, then you could submit a new receipt or reimbursement from February to December for $555 for the remaining of the receipt.
This is already August,
So you missed your window to submit for other months.
so I wouldn't be able to get that money.
You can only get it for the remainder of the year. And we made this announcement and we sent very detailed instructions in January. I think I might have even sent it in December, because we knew about this, and unfortunately is a limitation and we can't work around it. So we were very clear in our communication that this is something that you do have to be mindful and watch out for. So, okay. Yes.
So, you mentioned that we just took a screenshot of our bank chart, so it's enough. We don't need to reach out.
That totally works for me. It says like my gym's name, but I put it as like, in the details of the reimbursement, it's like, oh, is this a gym membership? What's the name of the vendor? I have no problems. One time, and I will preface this, sometimes because it's a team of people, sometimes they misunderstand our plan. And one time mine got rejected. And when I called them and they're like, sorry, that was a training opportunity, they resubmitted it immediately. So if you come into a situation where they reject your receipt and you don't understand why, it's not the service date issue or anything, let me know or call customer service. what I see is they resubmit the claim and they approve it immediately. Again, I just don't want you guys to sit on anything and then 2018 say, hey, Michelle, I got rejected 6 receipts. I don't understand. If you wait, I can't reimburse you because, again, the IRS regulates when we can make the payments. So I really, really, really want you guys to reach out to us and let us know in real time if you're having issues. Because if you're having issues but you don't tell us, how do we know? So keep that in mind. Any questions from our New York, Chicago, LA, work from home folks?
I have a question.
Yes.
Let's say I submitted my gym membership claim before the 10th and it was less than the $50, but I recently had a massage or something that I wanted to submit partially the amount, whatever I have left for this month. Am I still able to do that if I already submitted my gym membership?
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand your, so you submitted a partial receipt. It didn't hit the $50. It was
Correct.
under 50 for, let's say, the month of August before the 10th. And then you had a massage that could cover the rest of the benefit month. And you're wondering if you could submit basically 2 expenses to cover the $50.
Correct.
You should be able to, as long as I would put, if I were you, the service date. So I don't know what the service date you put for the first expense, but if you did like August 1st, let's say, $30. And then your massage was on the 10th, I would put then a service date of August 10th, $20.
Okay, even if the service was more and that I only want to be reimbursed for the amount that's left of the 50?
Yes, because I think what I do is I have a gym membership that's $59.95, and sometimes I put $59.95, and they know that I'm only eligible for up to 50. So they should be able to see that you've already been reimbursed for 30, and you're just providing an extra receipt to cover the $20. So that's why I would recommend putting the $20 to show that you understand that you're not trying to get 50-50, you're just trying to get to your $50. If that doesn't work, they say we don't understand or that's denied, that's a kind of example you should forward to me or to HR so I can escalate it and explain it to the team. Because again, you have to keep in mind, Wageworks is a huge company. They have teams dedicated to review receipts. So sometimes they misunderstand the design of our plan.
Right.
So
thank you.
Yeah, of course. It's when you don't submit things in a timely manner, I can't really help you because we've been very clear on deadlines.
I have a question.
Yes.
So suppose my gym membership is more than 50, you're saying that I don't have to put in the whole amount, I just put 50 and for the entire receipt?
You do put the whole, I think you put the whole amount, but they know just to pay you back 50, because that's what happens to me. Yeah.
Yep. Now, I one time put an amount of $39.95 because my gym actually owed me money, and they only approved $39.95. Yeah. So I think that answers your first question, because I did put a partial receipt of $39.95, and they only reimbursed me. So I'm sure if I had a receipt for 20 more or 10 more bucks, they would have granted that to me. If not, I would have called customer service or escalate that to HR because you are eligible and you are doing it correctly. Awesome. Okay, well, if you have further questions, why don't we can save that for the end, or email HR, because I do have a few more other services I want to cover. The next few services are specific to if you're eligible to help or participate in our health benefits, and then which benefit you elected. So for some of you, it might not apply to you, and if I answered all your questions, you're welcome. You're welcome to drop off or leave the tutorial. So just want to remind you that next section is for Blue Shield 2250 members. I will be going over FSA and HSA. So if you are an HSA or FSA person, you may want to stay. If you're a Blue Shield 2250 member and I answer your questions, you're welcome to leave when if you need to. Okay. So again, if you are participating in the one of our Pop Sugar benefits and you are a Blue Shield 2250 HRA member, you are eligible to participate in a health reimbursement account. the way this account is designed, or this health benefit, you have a deductible that the company will reimburse you back for. I'm not going to go too deep into the plan, because probably if you're participating, you understand the plan. There are some things I called out here, but I'll just let you guys read. The biggest thing is we got some feedback. Some people are confused by the benefit. And so the first thing first, I would say, is with the way this plan is designed, you can only be reimbursed for eligible Blue Shield deductible, co-insurance, co-payment, and prescription cost. And so basically, if you go to the doctor's office and they say, what's your insurance? And you give them your insurance. And then later, after they bill Blue Shield says, okay, after we charged everything, you still owe $50 of your deductible. You technically have to pay that $50, but then per the company HRA plan, you can get reimbursed back for that $50. So I think the first thing that some people struggle with the HRA is you have to have a Blue Shield receipt, what we call an EOB, and that's the only type of receipt Wageworks will accept. That is how the HRA is designed. So I'm skipping ahead. This is what a Blue Shield EOB, explanation of benefits, should look like. You do need to download it from your Blue Shield account, and you'll download this receipt. And if you see here, under patient responsibility, these two columns, deductible and co-payment, co-insurance, are the two expenses that is reimbursable by the HRA plan. If there's anything under non-covered, that means it wasn't part of our deductible, maybe you went out of network, and that is not reimbursable by the HRA, okay? If you have more questions on that, let me know. We can talk separately. So once you download, so you went to the doctor, you didn't pay at service, because you always want your doctor to bill your insurance first, bill your insurance, and then you get a receipt from your doctor's office. And when you go onto your Blue Shield website, you see an explanation of benefits explaining why you got a receipt from your doctor's office. You need to pay your doctor, and then now you can get reimbursed by the company HRA plan. So again, the instructions are log on to, you must download your Blue Shield EOB as your receipt, log on to your Wageworks account, and go to claims and activities, submit a claim. That leads us to this screen. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. So using the EOB that we're using an example, it was a Walgreens prescription. So that's covered, that's eligible for your HRA. You are gonna fill out all applicable fields, and you're gonna put in the amount you had to pay out of pocket, so under patient responsibility. And then you're gonna say who it's for, and if you have dependents, you can submit these reimbursements for your dependents. If under description, you do not see the expense that you're trying to submit, click other, and the list will expand, okay? So once you submit your receipt, or your EOB, I should say, when you log onto your Wageworks account and you go to your dashboard and you go to your HRA plan, under, you will see a breakdown of what you submitted and what you're being reimbursed for. I saw some feedback on the survey saying that people didn't understand what they were being reimbursed for. It wasn't clear. You have to click on the HRA account to look at the details. But if you see here, this person received a total payment of $183.16 for a prescription. It's a combination of a prescription and office visits. Then over here, Wageworks tells you what the breakdown is. So you can track, did I get reimbursed for all my EOBs? But you don't have to submit 10 reimbursements for 10 different EOBs. If you have all your EOBs at once, you can submit one reimbursement. They will issue a check or direct deposit in that full amount, and then they tell you what they reimbursed you for. So if you need help, if you need to understand and track that, making sure you're being reimbursed for everything you're eligible for. Any questions? The HRA is a complicated plan, but it's a great plan. If you are on the HRA and you are finding some difficulties with it, again, please reach out to us, or we actually have a benefits advocate team. They can't really help you with Wageworks and like how to submit a receipt, but they can help you understand what is eligible for reimbursement, or how to find doctors and things like that. So when in doubt, reach out to HR. But if it's a very sensitive question, you can go straight to the advocate, and if they can't assist you because it's like too specific, like Wageworks reimbursement, they'll direct you to us. Okay, I'm gonna move on to flexible spending, or what everybody knows it as FSA. It's a elective benefit that the IRS says if you are gonna pay anything out of pocket, no reimbursements by the company for healthcare costs, medical, dental, vision, you can put aside pre-tax dollars. So you're still spending your money, but you get to save taxes on it. This is elective and you have to re-enroll every year. So this might not be applicable to some people. But if you are eligible for an FSA because you did set aside money, it's like the HRA. You have to have a receipt. You're going to submit for a claim for reimbursement. It's for and upload your receipt. But an FSA is not limited to a Blue Shield EOB because you can use it for dental or vision, therapy sessions, multitude of things. You can refer to the IRS, or Wageworks actually has the eligible list of expenses on their website on your dashboard. Please note that if you happen to be a person who's eligible for both an HRA and an FSA, if it's a Blue Shield eligible expense, Wageworks knows to pull it from your HRA money because you want to get reimbursed by the company first, right? That's kind of free money. If you already hit your reimbursement limit for the year for the HRA, then they will pull it from your FSA balance. Or if it's a non-Blue Shield medical eligible expense, they will pull it from your FSA because it could be dental, vision, etc. If you think Wageworks is pulling money from the wrong account, let HR know immediately. Okay, any questions before I move on to a California-only benefit? New York, Chicago, work from home, anybody have any questions about FSA, HRA? No? Okay. And then I'll go over HSA really quickly. Again, this is California only, and then if we have some time, I can open it back to everybody for like wellness or commuter questions. Or again, you could just ping me after the session or send your question to HR app. Okay. So for our California members, we have the option of participating in Kaiser as our HMO provider. If you do that, you're eligible to also be funded an HSA account. So the company funds your account with money to help pay for your Kaiser costs, since it's a high deductible plan. One thing I want to call out is that in 2017, we saw an increase in premiums. When we say premiums, the cost of your insurance. Pop sugar for the Kaiser plan, it's free cost to you. We absorb the premium. But since we saw an increase in our portion, we did have to offset that by reducing the monthly funding of the HSA dollars. Okay. So first things first, I think, so Wageworks is our HSA provider, but Wageworks is not a true bank. So they actually have to partner with a health savings bank, and in this case is BNY Mellon. Because this is an actual bank account, you actually have to do a separate verification and enrollment for your HSA account. But as long as you tell us, I'm a Kaiser member, I'm going to participate, we will tell Wageworks, hey, so-and-so is now eligible for a HSA account. The next time you log onto your Wageworks dashboard, you will see an extra step under the left-hand left side bar saying enroll in your HSA. If you never complete your enrollment, which can be multiple steps, you will never open your account and you will forfeit the HSA dollars. But that little prompt will stay there until you completely finish your HSA. So every time you submit that wellness reimbursement, you change your commuter order. If you see that you still have enroll in HSA, you did not finish, even if you think you did. Because there is a final verification email that you should get that says like, oh great, you've completed your enrollment. Please click this link to finish your account, okay? Another thing I wanna call out, this is totally common. All banks charge a administration fee. BNY Mellon charges $2 from your account. They just take it for your funds that we give you. So it's no surprise. Navia had a lower administration fee. We can't control that, unfortunately, because it's Wageworks' decision to partner with BNY Mellon. This is what an HSA account looks like. HSAs are a little different. It can be a reimbursement program, but you get a health savings credit card from Wageworks. You should be able to use it as a credit card. But in the event that you forget to use your HSA account or you're waiting for us to fund your account, you can submit, pay yourself back. But you can track, because it is a credit card, you can track all the expenses that you hit. That's all I have, unless anybody has any questions or comments.
So for HSA, you have to be insured in the
Kaiser.
program.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like how the Blue HRA, you have to be enrolled in the Blue Shield 2250.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Well, I think I'll probably post this presentation on our HR intranet, and so I'll let you guys know when I do that. We'll probably host a couple more of these tutorials because we know it's a complicated service. So if we didn't answer your questions or you have a question in the future, again, either email us or we will hopefully address it in a future tutorial. But that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for attending. And again, please, please, please reach out if you have any questions about Wageworks or any difficulties with getting anything reimbursed or place an order with. Bye guys, thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
My health insurance is going with the